Seawolf-class was supposed to be America's answer to a terrifying question. What if the Cold War went terribly wrong? Faster, deeper diving, and 70 times quieter than anything before it, the Seawolf subs were built to stalk and destroy the most advanced Soviet submarines in existence. But then the Soviet Union imploded. Budgets were slashed, and the Seawolf program, once hailed as the future of undersea warfare, was abruptly cancelled. That is, for all but one. The USS Jimmy Carter didn't just survive. It was completely rebuilt in a secret engineering operation. Its steel hull sliced in half and fitted with a bizarre new module. The submarine became a ghost. In 2013, that ghost finally resurfaced, its steel hull dented and scraped, just long enough to be seen flying a black skull and bones flag. It had returned from a mission so sensitive, so dangerous, that the crew was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation, an honor given only in the gravest moments of national peril. The question remains, what enemy did Jimmy Carter encounter and defeat in the silent waters where no witnesses have come forward? The Last Seawolf. USS Jimmy Carter, the third and last Seawolf-class submarine, was without a doubt one of the naval crown jewels of Cold War engineering. Built when East-West tensions pushed naval innovation to breaking point, this class of submarines achieved a whisper-quiet presence up to 70 times quieter than the Los Angeles-class boats they replaced. The Navy was so confident about the silent nature of their new Seawolf subs that it boldly boasted that Seawolf was quieter at full speed than the Los Angeles-class submarine was docked. Forged with HY-100 steel hulls, a high-yield, high-strength alloy developed for naval use, its superior toughness and weldability allowed submarines to dive past 2,000 feet and withstand more significant pressure. Speed and firepower also ran in their DNA. Cutting through deep water at over 25 knots, each Seawolf was equipped with 8 torpedo tubes, double the usual complement, housing up to 50 weapons from Mark 48 torpedoes to Tomahawk missiles. Under the hood, the technology was no less impressive. A modified Arky AN/BSY-2 combat system network with spherical sonar arrays, vast aperture arrays, and trailing sonar systems that could hear a pin drop on the seabed gave the submarine unparalleled awareness. The S-6W nuclear reactor, a massive 45,000 horsepower plant, drove a pump jet propulsion system that slid through the water, leaving barely a ripple of sound. There was no denying that the American submarine surpassed both Soviet and European counterparts in terms of acoustic stealth, sensor sophistication, firepower, and overall combat responsiveness. While Soviet subs, like the Akula and Sierra classes, had made dramatic leaps forward, they still lagged in critical areas. The Seawolf vessels had been carefully engineered to become the most lethal attack submarines in the history of naval combat. Then reality hit hard. Each submarine's price tag hit $3 billion, making them the priciest attack submarines in history, and second only to France's Triomphant-class missile submarines in the submarine cost Olympics. When the Soviet Union collapsed, the Pentagon's appetite for funding 29 such vessels evaporated overnight, trimming the program to just 3 vessels. The Navy gathered these 3 submarines under Submarine Development Squadron 5. This unit tests underwater surveillance gadgetry and remote submersibles while perfecting Arctic warfare tactics, where sound behaves differently, offering natural hiding spots. No official documents connect the squadron to intelligence gathering, though military bureaucracy has a long tradition of dressing wolves in sheep's clothing. USS Seawolf and USS Connecticut rolled off the assembly line as textbook attack submarines. The Jimmy Carter, however, received special modifications that set it apart for missions beyond the conventional playbook. It was a submarine like no other in the world. Cutting it in half. The submarine SSN-23 was given the name USS Jimmy Carter, a rare honor bestowed while the 39th president, a former submariner himself, was still alive. Breaking Navy tradition, the vessel was christened with Carter and his wife Rosalind in attendance on June 5, 2004, where she smashed champagne against the sail. Carter himself took the honor with utmost seriousness, becoming fascinated with the vessel and going as far as spending a night aboard during sea trials in 2005, despite being 80 years old. the ex-president made it his mission to explore every corner and meet every sailor who called the submarine home. But it wasn't only the name that made this vessel unique. It was also the subject of a bold surgical procedure performed during construction. The Navy had electric boat literally slice the brand new hull in half to insert a 100-foot multi-mission platform section amidships. This operation added 2,500 tons of water displacement and stretched the submarine to 453 feet, extending 100 feet longer than its Seawolf sisters. This transformation turned Jimmy Carter into something extraordinary, a dual-purpose vessel with a secret underwater mission bay tucked inside its hull. The MMP housed space and systems for launching and retrieving unmanned underwater vehicles, remote-controlled robots, and possibly even mini submarines for human divers. An ocean interface, essentially a floatable chamber or moon pool, allows Navy SEALs to slip in and out while the submarine remains submerged, enabling ghost-like insertion of special forces. The MMP featured reconfigurable cargo areas and command spaces for mission specialists. In fact, Jimmy Carter can accommodate up to 50 extra personnel beyond its standard crew, providing living quarters and workspace for an entire clandestine task force. For delicate underwater operations, the submarine sports auxiliary thrusters at both ends, giving this submergible crucial precision when working near the sea floor, when a single mistake could spell disaster. As Navy officials put it, the MMP, quote, enhances payload capability, enabling the submarine to accommodate advanced technology required to develop and test an entirely new generation of weapons, sensors, and undersea vehicles. In essence, USS Jimmy Carter stood as an underwater hybrid platform, part hunter-killer and part underwater spy carrier. Jimmy Carter did not sacrifice its Seawolf heritage of stealth, speed, and firepower while carrying its unique toolkit. As one analyst noted, it comes, quote, equipped like no other submarine for special missions and the covert gathering of intelligence. Among its known and rumored capabilities is a moon pool and modular bays for deploying special forces, underwater drones, and classified hardware. An arsenal of sensors likely allows it to eavesdrop on electronic signals and communications. The Navy has tested submarine launch surveillance systems, even aerial drones, and Jimmy Carter reportedly carried the infrastructure for such technology. This aligns with reports of the submarine allegedly launching a drone over North Korea's coastline in 2010 during an artillery confrontation. Despite these modifications, USS Jimmy Carter remains a predator. With 8 torpedo tubes and dozens of weapons at its disposal, it's as lethal as any American attack submarine. Unlike pure spy vessels, it can both gather intelligence and defend itself if cornered. Detecting it remains a near impossible challenge. Nuclear-powered, it roams the world's oceans indefinitely, limited only by food supplies and human endurance. Its Seawolf lineage ensures an acoustic signature barely above ambient ocean noise, allowing it to disappear in deep water or coastal shadow zones where sonar waves break down. Spy legacy. USS Jimmy Carter's true purpose becomes clear only when examining the underwater espionage operations of its Cold War predecessors. USS Jimmy Carter inherited the mantle of America's most clandestine submarine operations, explicitly modified to succeed USS Parche, often called the most decorated vessel in U.S. naval history. She carries forward a legacy of Cold War espionage. During the 1970s, the Navy, NSA, and CIA joined forces in Operation Ivy Bells, sending submarines like Halibut and later Parche on high-stakes missions deep in Soviet territory. These vessels carried specialized skids, advanced photographic equipment, and teams of elite saturation divers who could operate at extreme depths. Their mission: locate and tap Soviet naval communication cables resting on the seabed of the Sea of Okhotsk. The intelligence windfall was immense, as these submarines quietly harvested sensitive military communications for years, while the Soviets remained completely in the dark, never suspecting their secure channels had been compromised. The risks these crews faced were also immense. If detected, their operations could have escalated into serious international incidents or worse. Eventually, the Soviets did uncover one of these taps after an NSA mole betrayed the secret. USS Jimmy Carter was built with this legacy in mind, but it's been adapted for today's digital realities. Rather than tapping copper cables, Jimmy Carter reportedly targets modern fiber optic lines and other sensitive underwater installations. Intelligence experts note that its advanced MMP compartment, equipped with diver interfaces and remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, is perfectly suited for these secret missions. After its commissioning, reports started to come out, with naval analyst Norman Polmar describing how divers might attach recording equipment directly onto undersea cables, later retrieving the data for analysis. Beyond just wiretapping, its massive cargo area and specialized moonwell opening tell a different story. This sub can grab things from the sea floor. During the Cold War, US subs quietly picked up Soviet missile fragments and recovered lost spy gear without anyone knowing. The Halibut pulled off an incredible feat when it found and photographed the sunken Soviet sub K-129 in the Pacific depths, setting up the CIA's Project Azorian recovery operation. Today's Jimmy Carter likely handles similar jobs with its cutting-edge sensors and underwater drones, collecting missile debris, downed aircraft, or enemy naval tech without leaving any evidence behind. A typical operation scenario for Jimmy Carter would look like this. After a foreign missile launch or naval accident, the submarine immediately slips into disputed waters. With no foreign agencies or forces realizing what's going on, it deploys its specialized equipment to gather crucial intelligence and vanishes like it was never there. The crew aboard this advanced submarine operates firmly within the Navy's storied silent service, maintaining traditions of secrecy and daring inherited directly from their Cold War predecessors. As the Navy itself acknowledged in 2021, such covert missions remain primarily hidden, often revealed only decades later through declassified documents or hinted at by awards granted to courageous crew members. And it was precisely through one of these rare awards that the mere existence of one of USS Jimmy Carter's most essential and consequential missions was revealed, and a mad race to uncover more details about it began. Mission 7. In the first months of 2013, USS Jimmy Carter vanished from her Bangor, Washington home port. The submarine and 150 sailors slipped beneath the Pacific waves on what would become known simply as Mission 7. For 8 weeks, the submarine vanished completely, a phantom vessel operating where naval trackers couldn't follow. Then suddenly, in mid-March, Jimmy Carter surfaced at Pearl Harbor, looking worse for wear. She needed immediate fixes, revealing that whatever classified mission she'd undertaken had run into real trouble. No one outside classified circles knows if it was natural dangers, confrontations with adversaries, or operational problems that damaged her. But when a submarine specifically engineered for extended underwater missions needs unplanned repairs, it points to something far more serious than standard deployment challenges. Later that year, confirmation of the vessel's involvement in a high-stakes operation came in the form of the crew receiving the Presidential Unit Citation, the highest honor available to a military unit. The citation specifically mentioned, quote, extraordinary heroism in action against an armed enemy, language suggesting a direct confrontation or extreme peril during their secret mission. The submarine's official annual report offered only cryptic fragments. It noted the vessel had, quote, performed under a wide range of adverse and extremely stressful conditions without external support. The phrase without external support carries particular weight in naval circles, typically signaling isolation in hostile territory, operating without backup or rescue options. Deepening the intrigue, records confirm participation by members of the secretive Detachment Undersea Research and Development, specialists whose involvement points to advanced espionage technologies and clandestine underwater operations far beyond conventional submarine activities. Intelligence experts pieced together Mission 7 theories using minimal clues and past submarine operations. Many believed underwater cable tapping was the objective. Naval intelligence historian Norman Polmar backed this assessment, pointing out that the submarine was probably sent to intercept communications running through foreign fiber optic lines. With rising Pacific tensions, these cables represented prime intelligence targets, full of sensitive military and diplomatic traffic. The South China Sea topped the list of likely operation areas. At the time, China was aggressively building up its maritime military footprint, creating artificial islands, installing submarine detection networks, and boldly pushing territorial claims. The submarine probably crept into these contested waters to plant surveillance equipment on Chinese underwater infrastructure. Being installed so deep below the surface might make these assets unreachable to most nations, but not the United States. Jimmy Carter had the capability to evade every sophisticated detection system to gather intelligence that could tip the strategic balance in America's favor. North Korea stands as another possible location for Mission 7. During the 2010 crisis, when North Korea shelled Yeonpyeong Island, reports emerged that Jimmy Carter had deployed drones to the area while remaining completely submerged. These unmanned aircraft were used to gather real-time intelligence on North Korean artillery positions, which also helped neutralize the threat quickly. The situation presented itself again in early 2013 as Pyongyang ramped up missile tests and threats against South Korea and the US. Analysts believe Jimmy Carter deployed underwater drones or Navy divers to tap undersea cables linking North Korea with China in order to intercept critical communications between these allies. Other experts suggest the submarine positioned itself off North Korea's coast to monitor missile tests and gather telemetry data unavailable through conventional intelligence channels. The submarine's specialized gear gives credence to these theories. Yet these scenarios don't explain the Presidential Citation's mention of confronting an armed enemy. A more daring theory that matches this claim suggests the submarine may have tracked enemy ballistic missile subs and possibly neutralized them before they could respond. Jimmy Carter could also have sabotaged underwater sonar arrays designed to detect American vessels. Such missions would involve direct engagement with armed adversaries, explaining the extraordinary heroism recognized in the citation. FOIA released photos from the ceremony showed Commander Brian Elkowitz and officers receiving honors, with one individual's face deliberately blurred, adding another layer to the mystery. Perhaps the most telling sign came upon Jimmy Carter's return to Bangor. Naval observers spotted a Jolly Roger flying alongside the American flag, the pirate ensign traditionally hoisted by submarines following successful covert missions. Radiant Gemstone. Ever since the peculiar happenings surrounding Mission 7, USS Jimmy Carter has continued to operate under a thick veil of secrecy. There are no official mentions of her deployments. Nevertheless, sharp-eyed naval analysts and hobbyists have continued to uncover some clues that have offered tiny glimpses of what she's been up to. In 2017, Jimmy Carter caught everyone's attention again when she pulled into Naval Base Kitsap sporting the black Jolly Roger flag, not just once, but twice. First in April, and again in September. The timing was no coincidence. It lined up neatly with the escalating tensions in the Pacific, with North Korea executing several highly publicized missile launches and nuclear tests. Observers believe Jimmy Carter was lurking around the Korean peninsula, planting unmanned sensors or directly tapping into enemy communications. One especially intriguing photo surfaced when she returned. There was a broom tied conspicuously to her periscope, an old-school naval sign for a clean sweep. Although the Navy remained tight-lipped, everyone reading between the lines got the message loud and clear. Jimmy Carter had knocked another covert mission out of the park. But the submarine's enduring mystery isn't just about a few headline-grabbing moments. It's the lack of any mention that truly builds her mystique. Unlike other subs that pop up regularly in naval reports and exercises, Jimmy Carter seems to be deployed constantly, just when global tensions reach a boiling point. But on paper, she's not doing anything. Classified under Commander, Submarine Group 9 Special Projects Pipeline, her deployments and even import activities remain concealed behind strict security cordons. The rare glimpses into her operations usually come indirectly, such as when her crew earned prestigious Battle E Efficiency Awards, notably in 2007 and 2012, strongly implying extraordinary performance during undisclosed missions. Beyond regional activities, rumors suggest Jimmy Carter's reach extends globally. Alleged revelations from leaks, such as those by Edward Snowden, hint that she, along with other specialized U.S. submarines, might carry sophisticated signal intelligence or SIGINT packages under programs like Radiant Gemstone. This advanced system gives submarines the remarkable ability to eavesdrop on electronic signals, such as cell phone chatter, without even surfacing. Once captured, this information makes its way back to the NSA via satellite, where analysts decipher the data using a specialized software called blind date. There's plenty of speculation out there about tense underwater showdowns with Russian special mission subs, especially the deep-diving Lasharic, which shares similar spy abilities. Solid proof of these underwater encounters, beyond speculation, is hard to come by, But the idea that these sophisticated vessels might be shadowing each other in the depths of strategic waters ramps up the intrigue surrounding USS Jimmy Carter.